welcome back to Mexico News Network's Breaking News. Remember, broadcasting from the beautiful El Dorado Royal Spa Resort by Charisma. Now, don't forget to follow us on social networks on Facebook, Twitter, as well as Google+, and browse through our website for more and positive information on Mexico and the world, www.mexiconewsnetwork.com. Now, let's move along to more interesting information. Mexico will host the 13th Conference of the Parties, the COP13, of the United Nations Conventions on Biodiversity, CDB. Representatives from 196 countries, including researchers, scientists, local authorities, and members of civil society groups, are expected to attend. The CBD is considered to be the most important global instrument for the preservation of biodiversity and its sustainable use. It also focuses on the fair and equitable distribution of benefits obtained from the use of genetic resources. The event is slated to take place in December 2016, as a matter of fact. At COP12, which took place in Pyeongchang, South Korea in October 2014, representatives from CDB signatory countries chose Mexico as the seat of the next conference, taking into account its megadiversity. After reviewing options, the Secretariat of the CBD and the Mexican government agreed that the city of Cancun would host the upcoming COP13. This was decided after CDB Executive Secretary Braulio Ferreira de Sousa Diaz visited Mexico to set forth a working agenda and analyze candidate cities. The conference will discuss ways to meet its previously set goals, as well as the Aichi biodiversity targets, which were approved during the COP10 in Nagoya, Japan, back in 2010. Attendees will also focus on the conference's strategic plan for 2011 to 2020. Now, this would be the very first time that CDB's Conference of the Parties simultaneously takes place with the meeting of the parties on the Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety MOP8 and the Nagoya Protocol on Access and Benefits Sharing. Mexico signed the CDB in 1992 and a year later became the first megadiverse country to ratify it. It is also one of the main actors in the negotiations on the Cartagena Protocol, in force since 2003, and the Nagoya Protocol, which is in force since October 12, 2014. Now, let's keep in mind that Mexico is home to anywhere between 8 to 12% of the world's entire species, despite the fact that it occupies a mere 1.5% of the Earth's entire surface. In other news, Mexico and the U.S. have, for some years now, been working together in favor of the preservation of the Mexican wolf under the Mexican Gray Wolf Recovery Program. This is a program that has the objective of delisting the Mexican wolf from the list of threatened and endangered wildlife and plants, introduce and manage actions to achieve so, along with time and cost estimates for it. Now, as part of the efforts to preserve the Mexican wolf, the 21st binational meeting between Mexico and the U.S. of the Mexican Gray Wolf Recovery Program took place in Chapultepec Zoo in Mexico City. This was the place where experts and specialists in the field, along with government parties and local authorities, gathered and highlighted the advances of the recovery program, along with the success of actions introduced. All of this to avoid the extinction of the species. The purpose of the event was also to emphasize the importance of the collaboration of local government, as well as the extensive labor that zoos carry out for the adequate care of the species. The binational meeting also accentuated the evolution of actions implemented in the preservation of the Mexican wolf. All of this in order to determine strategies to follow during the next upcoming years. Thanks to the actions introduced, the efforts of the Binational Committee, and the participation of over 55 zoos, in addition to the synergy between local and federal government, great achievements have been recorded. These are, just to mention a few: the San Juan de Aragon Zoo in Mexico City, which was the very first one to successfully reproduce a Mexican wolf lineage. Moreover, the freeing of the Mexican wolf into the wilderness in Mexico as well as the U.S. The birth of 2 Mexican wolves conceived by artificial insemination, the first of its kind, in the Chapultepec Zoo in 2014. Another great achievement was the creation of a genetic bank for the Mexican wolf in the Chapultepec Zoo also. Another great success story is the birth of over 150 Mexican wolves in the following zoos: Chapultepec, San Juan de Aragón, and Los Coyotes. And, last but not least, the send-off of a female Mexican wolf born in the San Juan de Aragón Zoo for the reintroduction into the wilderness. Now, the Mexican Gray Wolf Recovery Program has also managed to achieve the sum of 305 entire specimens in 54 zoos across Mexico and the U.S., including also the reintroduction of 85 wolves back into the wild in the states of Arizona and New Mexico. Now, all of this only proves that the hard work and collaboration between the U.S. and Mexico is nothing but an utter success. Efforts that are all aimed for one common goal: the preservation of the Mexican wolf. The support of academic centers also, as well as non-government organizations and a society aware of a current problematic, has also reached the recovery of over 300 specimens of the Mexican wolf. All of these results only give hope to the future survival of the entire species. Moving along to more information, Mexico City streets are incredibly busy, filled with cars, buses, trams, people, street vendors, restaurants, vendors from all kinds of places. These factors influence in the city's pollution in one way or another, which is why a group of researchers from the Universidad Nacional Autónoma de México and Ambientalist Environmental Consulting thought of a project that could help reduce air pollution by reusing residual cooking oil. Claudia Sheinbaum, Guillermo Robles, Sebastián Lelo de la Rea, and Roberto Mendoza from the university, alongside Marco V. Balam from Ambientalist Environmental Consulting, decided to try if residue cooking oil unsuitable for human consumption could in fact be turned into biodiesel to be used by some of Mexico City's public transport vehicles. The entire idea is to convert vegetable oil residual from the deep frying process to biodiesel in order to partially power vehicles that normally use diesel and, in so doing, reduce the emissions. Now, there are thousands of restaurants and street vendors that use gallons of vegetable oil daily for numerous preparations. However, the oil has a limited shelf life as it can only be reheated once, and this is ideally speaking, of course. The team conducted several trials where they used 3 different fuels in 6 different buses. One of them used 100% petrodiesel, while the others used a blend of 10% and 20% biodiesel. The buses used water weights to simulate the passenger's weight and drove around a regular route with its respective stops for 45 minutes and an emissions measurement system that collected the entire information. Matter emission, in fact, were reduced in both cases, as 66% for the 10% blend and 36% for the 20% blend. Nitrogen emissions were also reduced by 4% and 6% respectively. Now, it's also worth noting that these results are only in reference to a group of buses with engines that met the United States Environmental Protection Agency's emission standards for 2004. Buses with engines meeting the EPA 98 standards had a contrary result, in fact. According to the study, this new method would keep more than 16,000 tons of carbon dioxide out of the air per year. Furthermore, unlike other biodiesels, this one reuses waste material instead of relying on carbon-heavy sugarcane productions as a source. Coming up next, the Bacalar Lagoon, where you will find structures very similar to coral reefs, and these are known as stromatolites. These natural treasures are composed of rock produced by millions of bacteria which have formed over millions of years. They are considered to be the earliest signs of life on Earth. In Mexico, they can only be found in the Cuatro Ciénegas Reserve in the state of Coahuila and also in Bacalar, located in the state of Quintana Roo. Now, let's keep in mind that Bacalar is one of Mexico's magical towns and is located in the municipality of Otompe Blanco in the southern end of Quintana Roo. It is known for the Bacalar Lagoon, also known as the Lagoon of Seven Colors, due to the water's different tones of blue. Now, this lagoon in particular is part of the system known as the Rapids. It is about 55 kilometers long and communicates with the Bay of Chetumal across the Hondo River and the Chac estuary. Now, these stromatolites are a tourist attraction in Bacalar, in fact, and each year thousands of people attend to the Cocalitos public beach to admire them. This year, however, due to their delicate condition, the harbor master decided to prohibit access of the ships to the area where these formations are located. Now, according to a report presented by specialists from the Autonomous University of Mexico, the UNAM, to the authorities of Otompe Blanco and Bacalar, the stromatolites' deterioration are a threat to the environmental health of the lagoon, as they have a similar function that the reefs do. They are also major providers of the oxygen in the Earth's atmosphere. Damage is reflected in certain parts of the lagoon, in fact, which has also led to the creation of a committee made up of affected municipal governments. The committee has reached a series of agreements to preserve these structures. Currently, there's only a small number of places where you can find these formations. Among them, you'll see Shark Bay in Australia, Andro Island, part of the Bahamas, and the Persian Gulf, where the oldest stromatolites area is located. Other places include the Red Sea, Salgada Lake in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, different regions across Chile, and San Juan de Marcona in Peru. Stay with us, we'll be right back with more information on Mexico, the world of science and technology after these few messages.
Audio Jungle.